Alrighty, for this video, I'm going to show you as quick as I can how I created this design onto a t-shirt. Stay tuned. Okay, so just really quickly, I set my design up using Sewet Pro. This is the River Mill Embroidery Varsity Double Applique Style number 2, and the letter is a 4.5-inch letter. And I'm talking about for the applique part. Now for the name going through the letter, this is the Simone font from Designs by Juju, and this is the I think it's the 1.5-inch font, but it is the Simone font from Designs by Juju. The double applique doesn't come in one color for the color changes for the actual satin stitches that go around the letters. That is something I did just because I'm going to use the same color thread for both appliques. So initially with this font or with this applique, you do have two different color changes, but I merged the colors. I switched them all to the vermilion color, and I just combined them so that it's one color and one less thread change. But that's all I did to set this up, and that's what the color chart looks like here. Because I'm using a single needle, I don't pay the color chart a whole lot of attention because I'm going to be putting my threads in order anyways. So if you do need a video showing how I set this up, just let me know. I'm just trying to be a little bit quicker with this video today. Okay guys, so for this project, I'm going to be using a couple of things. I've got some regular cotton fabric that has this kind of a rosy floral print in it, and this is actually just a fat quarter that I got from Walmart. Then that's going to be on the bottom layer. This will be on the bottom layer of the design, and then for the top layer, I'm going to be using some heat transfer glitter vinyl, and I'm going to have to measure out how much I need, how much I'm going to use, and then I'm going to peel it off of here. Okay, you got to take it off of that shiny carrier sheet because this is what's used if you're going to be heat pressing so that it doesn't so that it stays in place. But for embroidery purposes, I'm going to peel it off of the carrier sheet. I will not be using this carrier sheet. I'm just going to be using the glitter vinyl part. Okay, so I'll use that. And oh, I forgot to tell you, on the back of the cotton fabric, I am going to prep it with some, what do they call it? Wonder Under. Lint brush is getting in the way. The 805 by Pellon, however you say it. But anyways, this is the Wonder Under iron-on adhesive. It's a little bit thinner than the Heat and Bond Light, and it does give it that adhesive to the back of it so that it doesn't fray. And so if you cut your piece, you'll feel one part is real smooth, and then there's another, the other side is like kind of rough. This is the side that goes down onto the back of your fabric. Okay, so I'm going to iron it, I'm going to let it cool, and then I'm going to peel the paper away, and then I'll have the adhesive on the back of this. Okay, and I am going to be putting all of this on a regular old gray t-shirt. This is a Gildan t-shirt, and I'll be using some 40 weight embroidery thread by it's by Coats. I'm going to be using some Coats thread today, but we'll talk about that when I get over to the machine. So right now I am going to just prep this fabric so that it can get ready, and I will meet you at the next step. Okay, and just to show you what I mean, I ironed the Pellon 805 onto the back side of this fabric, and this is the paper. It's ironed on and it's now cooled. So now I'm going to just peel this off. It will peel off. Sorry about all the sound effects. Okay, throw that away. Okay, and it's kind of hard to see on camera, but you can hear it. The pelling is on here, and then on this part, it's a different sound. It's a different feel. So you can feel it. It almost has like a rubbery feel to it. But let me go ahead and cut that so I don't get confused later on. Well, I won't get confused because I can tell that this has the pelling on it. But anyways, I'm gonna cut this so that I can just set the rest of the fabric to the side. And now the next step, I am going to mark the center of my hoop, of course, because I like to do that. And then I am gonna iron my shirt so that I can get it ready to be placed on the hoop. Now, do y'all remember what I told you I do to make sure that I get to the center point? You follow your little nodules. I know y'all are tired of me showing these, but these little nodules, if you meet all of them in the center, you'll get your center point, okay? So going straight down, straight across, you get to your center point. So I'm gonna set that aside. And now what I am gonna do, I'm gonna iron my shirt out, okay? Okay, so when I do my shirt, I do iron it going straight down the center so that I have that center mark. And now this is going to be going on the left chest. So if I open the shirt up, this is my left chest over here. So to get my placement, this is what I do. And different people will have different ways of finding their center points or where they want the center of their design to be. But this is how I do mine, okay? Now, from the top, I measure, depending on the size of the shirt, 7.5 inches to 9 inches going down. So I do have my Dritz measuring tape. Goodness gracious, Sean. And this 7.5, that looks like a good point for the center point coming down. Now, I also have to measure from the center, and I'll go anywhere between 4 and 6 inches inward to get the center point. And I'm thinking I'm going to go over to about 4.5 to make it the center point here. And then I do try to mark it just very lightly because the applique is going to cover it anyways. But if it was something else like a monogram or something, you would definitely want it to be marked with something that's going to erase very easily or rinse away. So now, I don't know if you can see this, but that is my center point right here. Can you see that? You probably can't really see it. You can see it a little bit. It's a little blue dot there. But anyways, so now what I'll do next, I'm going to put my shirt inside the hoop. Not inside the hoop. I'm going to hoop my shirt. I really need to do these videos in the morning when I have a little bit more clarity and energy. But anyways, I'm going to separate it here. And the ironing print kind of helps as well when you want to make sure that you're staying straight as far as hooping, because you can see that it's straight going up against the side of the hoop. Let me get some pins, because of course I am not hooping the shirt itself. I'm actually just going to float it. And I'm going to line that up with my points. So the center dot on your hoop, I have it lined up with that center dot that's on my shirt. And this table cover, this is a ironing mat. It's kind of padded. And the table itself, I got it from Joann Fabrics, and then they have this here mat that you can iron on, and it has the grid and everything. But it all came from Joann Fabrics. So just to let you know, because some people have asked me, how am I able to iron on this table and not tear the mat up? Because this isn't a cutting mat. My cutting mats are over on some shelves that I can't even reach right now. But I have very small cutting mats. I don't have a table size cutting mat. But just to let you know, this is one of those thermal proof table covers that are designed to be ironed on. But anyways, getting back to this, I have it where the center dots are lined up to each other. And then I want to just try to straighten this out to make sure that this crease where I ironed up and down the center, I want to make sure that that's straight going along the side of the hoop. Because if that's straight going along the side of the hoop, and I did in fact create a straight crease, your shirt's going to be straight. You shouldn't have to worry about it being crooked on the hoop. But then there are some safety checks you want to do just to be sure. And I'll show you once I get this thing all pinned down. I'm going to go through and I'm going to pin down all the way around it. And then once everything is pinned down, I'm going to take the center pin out. Okay. Okay, so now I have everything pinned down, and I do want to make sure I didn't have anything extra pinned down. So the only thing that's pinned down is what's supposed to be pinned down. Now, just to make sure that I do have it hooped kind of straight or pinned down kind of straight. I keep saying hooped when it's not hooped, it's floating. I want to make sure it's floated kind of straight. I will take and put the shirt to where it's the front and backs are around the hoop. And so I don't know if you can see that or not, but here's my hoop, and this is my center line here. Got my collar, shoulder right here, collar and shoulder here. So I think that is going to be pretty, I think that's going to be pretty straight. So I am going to take the back and bring it back out so that we're not stitching the shirt closed, because that's not going to be wearable if I do that. And you do want to make sure that you don't have anything that's going to get caught up or pinned in. So now it's ready to be stitched. I'm going to take it to the machine and we'll get started. Okay, so now I have the shirt floated on the hoop and it is on the machine now. I am going to be looking at about 26 minutes, a little bit more than that. It'll be more like 40 to 45 with trimming the applique and everything. So stitch wise, I've got 11,281 stitches. So what I'm going to do first, just to be sure that, you know, everything is, the pins are out of place. I mean, out of the way. Goodness gracious. I'm going to do a trace. I want to come down here and I'm going to hit this button here. Oh, I hit the wrong button. No, I didn't. Okay. And so that is the trace button. And I want to see how far to the right it's going to go as far as my design. And so it shows right here. I mean, you can see right there, that's where it's going. And it shows on the screen with that little green dot, the farthest extent of that side of the design. So now I want to see how far to the left the design is going to go. And did you see that the green plus sign moved up there? So that's how far to the left the design is going to go. And on the actual shirt itself, the needle moved to where it's going to be. And so it's out of place as far as left and right. So now I want to see the top or the furthest up. And so that's the top of the S. And it is just clearing those pins. And then I'm going to go and see how far down it's going to go. Okay, and so the green plus moved to the bottom, and that is the bottom of the design. So I think we are safe as far as where the pins are at since we're floating this, and we'll get started. First is doing the placement line for the outer applique. And remember, that is going to be the pink floral type design that I put the Wonder Under on it. And now I do have a lot more than I actually need, but that's okay for the sake of this video. If you are going to be doing this, definitely just trim it to what you need. And normally you could probably get away with just doing an inch more than what the design size is, or even 1.5 inches just to be safe. But clearly I have a lot more than 1 inch of extra fabric. So now it's going to tack this down, and I'm just using black thread for everything because it's all going to be stitched in. Do I want to do black thread? Now I'm thinking. I'm not sure if I want to do black thread. I think I'm going to change this thread color. I'm going to think about this while I'm trimming it. Okay, so now it's tacked the fabric down for the outer part of the applique. And I am going to go to the table and I'm just going to trim all the way around here, okay? And even into those little spots. And I can tell you I'll need to use a seam ripper to get down in there. But I'll get this all cleaned up and I'll figure out what color I really want the thread to be, and I'll be back. Okay, so I've got it all trimmed up to the best of my ability. And it was a little hectic getting down in there, and I thought I was going to use a seam ripper, but then I thought I was going to rip the shirt. So I just went on and weaseled in there with the scissors. So now I'm going to put this back on the hoop. I'm going to change the thread to pink and we'll get back to stitching. Alrighty, so I've got the thread changed to a pink, and now we're going to do the tack down stitch for the second layer, which is actually the top layer, okay? And that is what I'll be doing glitter. Okay, so I've got the glitter, and this is, I took the plastic carrier sheet off. So if you ever do this, please take this here plastic off. And I'm going to put the glitter on it. And let's see here. Just need to make sure it's going to cover all the placement for it. You don't want to iron this down right now because it is an adhesive vinyl. And then you would just have a big blob all over it. And don't ever put your fingers up under here where the needle is stitching. Okay, so that is stitched in place. The next thing I'll do, of course, I've got to go through and I've got to now trim this all off, okay? So that is just the glitter, and then you'll be able to see the layer with the floral pink on it, okay? And I will be back. Okay, so I got it all trimmed up, and then I pressed the glitter with a dry iron. You know, just get your Teflon or pressing cloth, paper towel, whatever, so that you don't get anything on your iron. But usually I don't have an issue with the glitter. You just press it, and now I'm going to put it back on the machine and get to stitching the applique part. Okay, so this part is about 20 minutes worth of stitching, and if you know me, you know I do not record the whole time while the machine is stitching because that just gets on my nerves. But to make a long story short with this, what the machine will do now is it's going to stitch out the border that the satin stitch is going to be laid down on, and because I merged both of the outlines or both of the satin stitches for the applique, it's going to do all of it back to back. So I'll let that go ahead and stitch out, and I'll check back here and there with you. Okay, so I had to stop real quick because I see my thread is starting to shred. And I'm going to tell you why. It's because of the glitter. And so what I am going to do, I am going to get some water-soluble stabilizer, the Solvay. I'm going to rethread my machine. And I'm going to put a layer of Solvay on top of this so that the shredding kind of decreases. Let me pull that through. Sorry for bumping the camera. But where is my Solvay? You know, I keep the Solvay in a bag because I'm scared to death that it's going to get dried out. Just gonna cut a piece, and actually I think I will fold this in half if it'll cover it all. Yes, it will cover it all. And I'm gonna get some tape. Got some painter's tape over here, and I'm just gonna tape the edges of the Solvay down. And that is something that I learned when I was stitching these out at Christmas time. I made a lot of these for family and friends, and I forgot about it. So I'm just gonna let it pick up where it left off at, and we'll see how this does. So technically this is 2 layers of Solvay stitched on top of this, okay? And I think it's doing pretty good, so I will check back in with you. But of course, if any other problems occur, I will let you know about it. So now it's at the point where it's working in that satin stitch. I don't know if you could tell or not because it's pink against pink, but there is a satin stitch right there, and it's just going to go all the way around. So far, so good. Okay, and it's still stitching that satin stitch. I did pause and clip some of that excess stabilizer, the water-soluble, from off the edges because it was kind of flopping down and getting into the way. But we're still stitching. Okay guys, so I got a little sidetracked and I forgot to be recording, but just really quickly, it's still stitching, and I have black thread going across for the name, and this is the last step, and I'll show you the end results. Alrighty, this is down to the last few stitches. And the one thing about these machines, you know, they say that they go so many stitches a minute, but when it gets to certain like curves or changes of direction in the design, it does slow down a little bit. All finished. So I'll clean it up at the table and we'll see how it looks. Alrighty, so we're back at the table. I'm going to take these pins out so that we can get this shirt off of the hoop and see how it looks. And you know, with the water soluble stabilizer, it does wash away, so it's not a big concern that it's up under there at all. And I did use cutaway stabilizer, so I will have to take the stabilizer off of the hoop. And I may have enough stabilizer for at least a 4x4 project, so I will save that. Let me just get some regular scissors and cut this off. And let's see here. Just going to trim around that. I'll get this all trimmed up and I'll be back. Alrighty, so I've got the stabilizer all trimmed to where it's basically just around the actual design. And if you turn the design right side out, this is what we have. Now I will take that stabilizer out right there. And the rest, oh, well, I forgot about this over the glitter. I can pick that off, but it'll certainly wash off just fine as well. So have it however you'd like to do it. But this is the end results of this pretty much. Okay, so hope you can see that okay. That's the left chest corner. Let me move these scissors because it'll be my luck I would end up cutting the shirt up. Okay, I'm just trying to get you a good view of it. So that is that. And I think what I'll do, I will stop here and I will pick up after I get some sleep, take a shower, and I will put this on. So we'll see how it looks. All right, everybody, this is the final result. You can see the glitter shimmers a little bit. And then you can tell if you look really close that there's that rose print background with the pink part. So that's it for now. I hope that you enjoyed it. And if you have any questions, leave it in the comments. Please like, share, subscribe. And until next time, take care of yourselves.